A very good morning to all of you who are joining with us live with the inaugural National Marketing Day. Today is the 27th of May, 2022. So this day is remarkable. This day is memorable because today, as I mentioned before, is the inaugural National Marketing Day for Sri Lanka. So on behalf of all the organizers, I welcome all of you who are joining virtually with us today for this special program. Before moving on to the official beginning of the program, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a panel discussion ready for you, exclusively talking about what's going on in Sri Lanka and what will be the future of marketing, especially in the Sri Lankan context. So for this, ladies and gentlemen, we have two of the ideal persons to talk. So the first one, Professor Nalin Abeysekara, the Dean of the Faculty of Management Studies of Open University of Sri Lanka. And also joining with us is also Mr. Denzil Pereira, especially representing the corporate sector of Sri Lanka. He is a brand and a business strategist plus a consultant for the marketing fraternity, the corporate sector of Sri Lanka. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a little time more for the beginning of the day's program. Till then, we'll have a discussion, a panel discussion with these two great personalities.
Warm welcome to you again. Professor, we would like to know how you came across with this idea of, declaring a National Marketing Day for Sri Lanka.
Yes, thank you very much. I consider this as one of the very historical event in Sri Lankan context in terms of marketing, because we are celebrating our first marketing day in Sri Lanka aligned with the Professor Philip Kotler's birthday, 27th of May. Actually, by looking at the context of the country, by looking at the situation of the country, where we need to understand we are having an economic crisis in Sri Lanka. But by looking at the solutions, we need to always identify different dimensions as solutions for this country, where the SME sector, the contribution of the SME sector, we can't ignore in that scenario. We need to understand the 52% of the employment being contributed by the SME sector and the 48%, around 48% of the GDP being contributed by small and medium entrepreneurs. But by looking at them, by analyzing them, there are particular expectations, maybe something aligned with their financial literacy. By looking at their competencies, we have observed in Sri Lankan context still the SME sector, they need to know something on fundamentals of marketing. But I have seen with our studies, research and all for last 40-50 years, where the marketing being extensively discussed in the globe. In Sri Lanka last 2-3 decades, the subject been very much popular among a specific segment in the country. Because like 60-70% of the SME people, they talk only Sinhala or Tamil, not English medium. So their native language. But this subject we need to socialize. In order to socialize the subject of marketing, so we have to have a different approach, because everybody should know something on marketing. Because if you are working, maybe you are an entrepreneur, at least you should know what are the basic, way we are going to promote the product, how we are going to price the product. So the strategies we are going for the distribution, and also we are talking about something called branding, aligned with all other strategies. So if you can socialize the subject of marketing, I think we can contribute more for the SME sector. So we need to always understand the indigenous component of marketing as well. So by looking at that aspect, to socialize the subject of marketing in Sri Lanka, to bring this subject of marketing to the general public, maybe in our native language, maybe by looking at different modes. So I think the event, because last 31st of March, in Open University of Sri Lanka, we had our first international conference in management and entrepreneurship. That day, actually, we declared, our Vice Chancellor, Professor PMC Tilakaratne, declared the 27th of May as the Marketing Day of Sri Lanka, to respect for Professor Philip Kotler, because I think we need to understand last 5-6 decades, Professor Philip Kotler, our guru of marketing, our mentor, he has contributed a lot for the subject of marketing. Not only by writing, by disseminating knowledge, align with the humanity, again by looking at the CSR, by looking at the happiness and all. So to respect, because as Sri Lankans, we are talking about this country is all about the gratitude. The people always like to pay gratitude for whatever the knowledge we gain. So to mark the respect, align with by looking at the SME sector and by looking at the requirement for the country, by looking at the situation of the economy and all, we declared this day, but this actually been contributed more by looking at the situation of the country and by looking at the requirement of the general public. So that is the expectation, Nancy. I hope I answered for your question.
Yes. Yeah, I think one thing that I picked from you, Professor, was that you were mentioning about socializing marketing aspect in Sri Lanka, especially in the SME sector. What is your exact idea behind this, and what do you exactly mean by socializing marketing in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, actually, in the subject where whatever the forum we goes, we always like to discuss certain concepts, maybe something on marketing mix, maybe something on STP, or sometimes we are talking about certain jargons. But once you go to the general public, I have seen there's a kind of a mismatch between what we said and what they absorb. Because you go maybe to the small boutique in Baddegama, so you start to talk about certain terms, then it will take more time for them to absorb. So we have to have certain, we are talking about something called localization, not the globalization, localization. We need to have certain adaptations, because in village, in the general public, they also apply in the subject of marketing. So, but we need to tell them, okay, so can be aligned with Sri Lankan culture. One of the good example, say you go to Kataragama, on your way back, you buy certain sweets. But prior to your buying behavior, like that particular vendor will offer you something free of charge. Sir, if you feel like this tasty, yes, you can eat. So that is our culture. But in marketing communication and integrated marketing communication, we can say that comes under sales promotion, short-term incentives for long-term performance. But I feel like if you offer that with the culture, then you get the kind of a sense of belongingness. But if for that vendor, we can tell them, okay, this is our culture. So you do something aligned with Sri Lankan culture. But in the marketing also, you have something called integrated marketing communication, that also something aligned with that. Then I think we can see a full-fledged potential marketer from the village. So that is the main expectation. I think these are the aspects we need to understand. Whatever the language we are using for the communication. But for the native language, for our country, Sri Lanka, we usually we talk Sinhala and Tamil. So we need to have a kind of a mechanism to socialize the subject, to socialize what Professor Kotler and all mentioned in terms of certain adaptation by looking at the indigenous marketing aspect as well.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. And one other thing that I would like to talk about is the concept of sustainable marketing. I think Professor Kotler is quite keen to talk on that as well. So how do you see the applicability of sustainable marketing in today's context? I think it's more relevant today than ever. What's your thoughts on that aspect?
Yeah, that is one of the very interesting concept where we are talking about the sustainability aligned with the triple bottom line approach, people, planet, and profit. So even in COVID-19 situation, more people start to discuss about the sustainability and something on sustainable marketing. And also with the sustainability, last year we witnessed one of the very nice video done by Professor Kotler on something on happiness. Now we are talking about not a gross domestic product. We are talking about gross domestic happiness. People with one of the famous examples in Asian context, Asian countries like Bhutan, they are talking about something called happiness index. So in marketing, we are always talking about the satisfaction and delight of the customer. But the happiness of the customer may be aligned with the spirituality, may be aligned with different dimensions we need to take into consideration. So in that scenario, I think sustainability, sustainable marketing is a fundamental. I think even World We are talking about United Nations, these Sustainable Development Goals 2030. We have to have 17 Sustainable Development Goals. By looking at the statistics last year, Sri Lanka, I think we rank around 87 position, courtesy of free education. Last, 50, 60 years we gained, and the health sector annual, but there are certain things to be developed. In that particular scenario, also the subject of marketing, the areas of marketing is really important. Most of the time, people start to think marketing is all about just satisfying the customer. No, it's always about the happiness of the customer. That should be aligned with the sustainability.
Thank you, Professor. And I think before we start the proceedings of the event today, just one more question that I would like to pose at you is that, this idea, the thought of declaring the National Marketing Day on the birthday of the father of modern marketing. How did you get that thought? What was the real, we keep incubating thoughts in our heads and minds, and then at one point we think, okay, this is it now, we need to do something about it. How did it come out? And, which point, what was the trigger?
Yeah, that actually triggered me. So we had a very good conversation with our marketing guru, Professor Kotler. So our mentor and great inspirational motivator for us. So once we talk certain things, maybe on anthro marketing and all, so we gain knowledge. Whatever the knowledge we gain, I think as Sri Lankans, we always talking about to pay the gratitude. So we get the knowledge, we have to respect in that particular respect. So we need to always, socialize this subject. Once you socialize the subject, there should be an event. This event you use as only the tagline, but by using that event, we can go to the rural areas, even we can reach to the school children in K-12 education, advanced level children, and tell them, okay, so how you need to maybe market yourself, brand yourself. So these things are really important. We have to start from somewhere. Now I think Sri Lanka, we are in an economic crisis situation. Everyone should get together. I think we can do this. This can be considered as one small step with the help of all the national universities. So Sri Lanka, where we have our friends, professors in University of Kelaniya, Jayawardenepura, then Ruhuna, Sabaragamu, and all the universities, they get together, and they, with the private sector, with the industry, they want to send a message for our guru, Professor Kotler. We always like to pay gratitude for Professor Kotler, his contribution made for the subject in the world. We need to make the gratitude for him for his birthday. That is the exact respect by popularizing the subject of marketing. I think we need to do that forever in next coming years. We have to have that respect for the Professor Kotler. That is one of the expectations. I think we need to disseminate that knowledge for the innocent, general, needy people in Sri Lanka. That's why we mark this.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Professor. And I think Professor Kotler has just joined in. We warmly welcome you, Professor. We are indeed privileged and happy to be, having you here. And we really like to see you live here. And there are a few more hours to, celebrate your birthday. So, Professor, let us begin with a small video that we would like to play about Sri Lanka. You've been a great resource person for Sri Lanka, and you have taken many case studies from Sri Lanka. In fact, in your books, those are inspirations that we got as marketing students when we were learning marketing, when we were in the university as undergraduates. So I think the whole Sri Lanka has that gratitude towards you for inspiring all of us to be where we are today and to pursue our careers in marketing. I think, so in that sense, yeah, I think we can start the session now. I'll hand it over to the control unit.
Hello, this is Philip Kotler. I cannot start yet until I set my slides up, and it says that you disabled my sharing of slides. Also, I think we lost our connection.
Let us
Hello.
begin the day in the true Sri Lankan style. Ayubowan to all of you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And as it was mentioned, we have the father of modern marketing today with us, Professor Philip Kotler. We welcome you to this gathering today, sir. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation on behalf of the organizers, and thank you very much for gracing this occasion. So, ladies and gentlemen, before further ado, let me welcome all of you for the inaugural Marketing Day of Sri Lanka, which says today, the 27th of May, is indeed a remarkable day, especially for the marketing fraternity of Sri Lanka. So this day was first declared at the first International Conference on Management and Entrepreneurship, organized by the Faculty of Management Studies of the Open University of Sri Lanka. And today, it has become a reality with the most ideal and the greatest person with us gracing this occasion, who is none other than Professor Philip Kotler. And also, on behalf of the organizing committee, I use this opportunity to welcome all of you who are here today, virtually joining with this occasion, all the representatives from the local and foreign universities, and all the other attendees representing the academic and the professional, the corporate arena of Sri Lanka and in other countries. So this day, we will be doing some of the special stuff as well, which will be declared later on. So before moving on to the day's procedure, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite Professor P.M.C. Tilakaratne, the Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Sri Lanka, to address the audience today.
Good morning, everyone. Dean Faculty of Management Studies, the Open University of Sri Lanka, members representing the marketing fraternity in Sri Lanka and all over the world. This is indeed a great honor, and I'm privileged to be part of the celebration to mark the Marketing Day of Sri Lanka, 27th of May. The day was declared as the Marketing Day of Sri Lanka on 31st of March 2022. At the first International Research Conference organized by the Faculty of Management Studies of the Open University of Sri Lanka, named as the ICOM 2022. With the birthday of father of modern day marketing, the world-renowned marketing guru, Professor Philip Kotler, born on 27th May 1931. While wishing Professor Kotler a very happy 92nd birthday, I am happy to say that the Faculty of Management Studies of the Open University of Sri Lanka is unique in taking the initiative of declaring this day as the Marketing Day of Sri Lanka. On the birthday of world-renowned author, consultant, and professor, above all, a great human being, Professor Kotler, the legend of marketing. Professor Kotler has made an immense contribution to carry the message of marketing to every corner of the globe. The most influential voice in marketing may be for more than 50 years. Among many, let me mention one of Professor Kotler's famous quotes: "Marketing is the creative use of the truth." This amply reflects the insights he infused into the subject of marketing. The awards, the honors he won from the world over need to no elaboration. They are too well known, and we in the Faculty of Management Studies and the Open University of Sri Lanka thought the best way to honor and pay tribute to this great person is to declare 27th of May as the Marketing Day of Sri Lanka, with the prime objective of recognizing his contribution towards the developing countries in particular and the world in general in popularizing the subject of marketing, and this day will become an eventful and colorful day in the academic calendar of the Open University of Sri Lanka. This is the beginning, and I'm sure Professor Kotler will join us in celebrating this memorable day, 27th of May, for many more years to come. Many happy returns for the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Professor P.M.C. Tilakaratne, the Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Sri Lanka. So it should be noted that this inaugural National Marketing Day 2022 was declared by the Faculty of Management Studies of Open University of Sri Lanka. It is sponsored by the English Tea Shop and also organized by Mr. Denzel Pereira. So ladies and gentlemen, the second element of the agenda of the day, that is the speech addressed by the personality who had this initial thought of making 27th of May 2022, the inaugural National Marketing Day of Sri Lanka, who is none other than Professor Nalin Abesekara. So if I give a brief introduction to Professor Nalin Abesekara, he is currently the Dean of the Faculty of Management Studies of Open University of Sri Lanka. Of course, to the Marketing Fraternity of Sri Lanka, he is not an unknown name, unknown brand name, because he is a renowned consultant, researcher, a keynote speaker, plus an author who is very popular among the Marketing Fraternity of Sri Lanka, especially educating the corporate sector and the academic sector about the modern day world marketing and practical marketing. Hi to you, sir. So on this special day, this invitation goes to you to address the audience.
Thank you very much. I wish you a happy birthday, Professor Kotler, from the bottom of our heart. I think this day we declared to pay tribute for our Professor Kotler, and today onwards, every year in Sri Lanka, the 27th of May, we considered as the Marketing Day of Sri Lanka. This country now, in economics context, we are not in a good shape, but in the gratitude context, to pay gratitude for most of the prominent professionals, we are in that particular highest level of stage. So we want to pay the gratitude, and this today onwards, the SME sector and whatever the needy sectors in Sri Lanka, we have to communicate the message. This marketing subject is not only we are going to align only to a specific class. This is for all this general public. We can use our native language. Maybe in Sri Lanka context, we use Sinhala and Tamil. By using our native language, we need to disseminate, and we have to empower our people in terms of marketing for the better world with the sustainability and the happiness. So thank you very much. That is the message I just want to communicate. So many happy returns of the day, Professor Kotler. Thank you very much, all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Nalin Abesekara. And as he mentioned, it's a great honor, a privilege to have Professor Philip Kotler here today with us to actually add glamour and color to this event. And as was mentioned about he is celebrating his 91st birthday today. First of all, before anything, happy birthday to you, sir. This, of course, is a moment that we've been awaiting for. I think this gathering, we have a gathering that represents the local marketing fraternity, the international marketing fraternity, both academics and the corporate sector. So I consider it my privilege in inviting Professor Philip Kotler, who is also known as the father of modern marketing. Of course, as undergraduates, it was your book of marketing management that we referred, and still several years have passed. It's still the same book that the undergraduates and the fresh learners use as their reference guide. So, sir, while wishing you a happy birthday, I'm sure that our audience is more than willing and excited to hear you speaking. Sir, over to you.
Thank you very much. I feel very honored to hear these remarks. And to Professor Nowlin, I want to congratulate you for even the idea of choosing a day for the National Marketing Day, which is unusual. I think you're the first country to do that, to choose a date for marketing, really. And to all of you, I have much to share with you about what's going to happen to our field of marketing, our businesses, our economy, and our society. I'm going to start with my PowerPoint slides, and I hope that they will open up right now. And it would be this set, and therefore it will be just a little larger. And let me go here. Okay. And I titled this Sustainable Marketing, Creating and Delivering Value. Now, the first cover page, that's just a little self-publicity about 3 books I wrote in the last few years. And I'm not going to talk about them. However, Marketing 5.0 is one of them, and it has been quite popular because it briefs our managers, our professional marketers, in the latest things that have happened that they should be aware of in doing their marketing. And the second book, H2H, means human to human marketing. And it's very much a kind of a textbook. It could be used as the textbook or use my own or some other one, but it also goes deeply into 3 new areas that normally are not covered in normal textbooks. And finally, I will have a lot to say about brands and something that I call brand activism. So let me move on and say this. Sri Lanka, as I mentioned, is one of the first countries to create a National Marketing Day, and congratulations. And of course, I was pleased to be invited to speak on the day of my birthday, which is today. And I will speak about the role of marketing in these chaotic and confusing times. I also sympathize with the financial crisis in Sri Lanka about the need for debt reconstruction. And I do wish that your country proceeds to tackle its problems and come out as a winner. And the whole world is there to sympathize and help and wish you the best they can in your recovery. Now, I also mention one more thing, and that it has to do with maybe your sponsor, and it's about the English Tea Company. Thank you. I opened the box today. It arrived just in time of the most fascinating teas, including a chocolate tea, but among others. And it was very thoughtful for you to introduce me to the fine teas made in your country. Now, let's move on. I'm going to answer 5 questions as best as I can, one at a time. But let me read the questions. What about marketing has remained the same, even though the times have changed? Has anything remained the same? And my answer is yes. And I'll tell you what it is when we get to that topic. But the second question then is, what's new thinking in marketing? What has occurred that is really new? And I will comment on that. Thirdly, what events and trends are shaping the future of marketing? 4, what role is marketing and CMOs, chief marketing officers, playing in organizations and in the economy? And 5, what marketing responsibilities should companies address? Okay, let's start with the first. And as you listen to me, you might want to add some of your own thoughts. Because when I talk now about number 1, what about marketing has remained the same? I'm going to cite 4 or 5 things, and you can notice that I probably missed other things too. One thing that has remained central to the whole idea of modern marketing is customer centricity. The customer is first. We design our business in order to meet customer needs in the best way possible, to be a winner in meeting customer needs. Now, I'm going to add another thing that has been somewhat neglected. I would add a second centricity, and I would make it employee centricity. We need to recognize that we who sit in the big office doing our marketing planning aren't meeting the customer. It's the employees who are serving the customer. Even if they're in the factory, they ought to be thinking of the customer or in the office. So the thing is that I learned that from my discussion with the CEO of the Marriott hotel system. He said that he puts employees first and customers second. Well, that's unusual. How did he explain it? He said, our first job is to make the reception of the customer who comes into a Marriott a very fine experience at the desk of the receptionist. And we succeed when our receptionist and our employees and the people who clean our rooms, when all of the employees care about the customer, then the customer is going to come back a second time and a third time. So he says, maybe employees are even more central, but play it as you may, customer centricity and employee centricity, to me, would be a wonderful combination in our thinking. Also, what's going to stay in basic marketing is 4 Ps, the 4 Ps, product, price, place, and promotion. Now, maybe there are more Ps. Don't worry about that. Any marketing plan has to deal with the products you're selling, the prices you're setting on the products, the place where people go to get the product, and also the promotion to communicate the real value of the product. So I don't care if you want to add 2 more Ps. One would be people. Okay. How about another being I was going to say packaging. You might say even where is packaging in the 4 Ps? Well, the product has packaging by definition. So when we plan the product, we plan the package along with that. So there's a little debate going on about should the theory rest on 4 Ps, 5 Ps, whatever. We can talk about that. Another fundamental thing we have not changed at all is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Every market is heterogeneous. Even if you say it's the car market or the fast food market, whatever, it consists of so many segments. And it's important that you don't try to serve them all. Coca-Cola does, of course, but mainly most small and medium enterprises have to choose serving a specific segment as well as possible. And in serving them and targeting them, to make a good communication that shows the positioning, the brand of your company, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. I might even add the word branding. Branding is one of the things that won't change. We need it all the time. And then there's one more thing that is sort of mentioned there too. The fact is that my script is covered up there, so I can't read it, but these are essentials that will remain the same. Let's move on to what's going to be new. Now, that's also pretty obvious. The first one is that marketing has been revolutionized by the digital and social media. It's a new digital world. And I'll mention a little story about that. A CEO came to me once after a lecture and he asked me to sign a copy of his Kotler book. So I look at the book, my God, the book was written, it was the first one I ever wrote. It was in 1967. It was called the first edition of Marketing Management. And I said, do you still use it? He says, yes, I have it on my desk. And so when a marketing problem comes up, I gather a lot of energy from reading what you might have addressed in that problem. I said, but what do you think of the branding section of the book? He says, I don't remember I didn't think there was much on branding. What do you think of the internet section? He says, well, there was no internet when you wrote the book. So I said, why are you keeping that book? I said, I'm glad to sign it, but I'm on the 16th edition now. Don't you think you want an edition that covers all the changes in the world and not just what I wrote in? You cannot win with 1967 marketing in the year 2022. He got the point. He got the point. Another new thing is we thought we will stop when we finally identify segments to sell to. So our ad is sort of directed toward a segment. But now we're doing much more micro customer targeting, customer by customer. Now, by the way, that's not unfamiliar in B2B, where big businesses are selling to other big businesses and so on. And frankly, the salespeople know each customer, a lot about each customer. On the other hand, let's go to a company B2C, business to consumer. Take Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola can't possibly, can it know every one of the millions and millions of drinkers of Coca-Cola? Yes, they have more and more information on everyone who drinks a Coca-Cola and where they shop and what media they watch. And we'll talk more about it. But this is a movement from just being satisfied with your planning centering on segments and now moving to micro customer targeting, which really brings up a need for a lot of tools to get that information about each customer. Another new thing is voice and facial recognition and amplification. You know, now we could ask Siri, if you have my smartphone, I say, Siri, what time is it? Siri, what's the weather today? Siri, who wrote the book Gone with the Wind? She can answer anything. Or Alexa. Alexa's answering a lot of questions. And not only that, we are forming chatbots when we have a new product without having a salesman standing in front of you and you're in the supermarket and you're looking at a new product, you just press a button and there's a whole explanation, not only of the product, but it says, do you have any questions? Because the chatbot had anticipated the questions that most people will ask about that new product and answer them. So that's another feature. And then another one is we're very much interested in drawing maps of the customer journey and touch points. How did that person end up in my Mazda dealership? Or let's say I sell Hondas or Hyundais. In other words, how did a customer come to me? Did they just walk by our building and look in and see some cars and just inquire? Or did they get the idea of buying a new car and somehow look at a lot of ads? And maybe they also touched with their friends and asked about what they drive. So every customer journey is marked by touch points, and you better have your presence at the main touch points when they turn to finding out information about you and other car makers. So we have to be understanding the different ways in which people end up buying something from us and what touched them, what were the touch points. Another thing that is happening strongly, and it's more of a business than just a marketing thing, we are moving from shareholder value to stakeholder value. I believe that will become very well established more and more. See, when a company is only shareholder oriented, it's only concerned with two groups. What are the two groups? The customers and the shareholders. Who are the shareholders? Well, they're the people who gave the money to start the business and to support financing the business. Those are the only two that, and so if you are running your business the way Milton Friedman, Professor Milton Friedman, who was my own professor at the University of Chicago, he would say, your job is very simple. You have to maximize profits in your business. Don't worry about any causes. Don't use the money in your business to give away to people. After all, leave that to the owners, the shareholders. They'll get dividends and they can do what they want. If they want to help the homeless, if they want to help the hungry, let them do it, but don't make the company help. Well, I think that's very narrow. That is making profit maximization the only thing that counts. We're asking to be stakeholder oriented. And you take a company, and this is a large one, like Unilever. Unilever says we have 7 stakeholders: customers, employees, suppliers, distributors. It goes on and says, and the communities in which we work, they are stakeholders. We could be hurting the community or helping the community. And don't forget the planet. The planet is at risk. It's getting warmer. So we want to do what we can to keep the planet going. So I think the companies that adopt a stakeholder and not a shareholder view of the business will, in the long run, make more money. If the object is just to make more money, it will be the stakeholder orientation that will deliver more money than shareholder holdings. Well, let's move on. These are what is new in marketing, but let's move on to what events and trends are shaping the future of marketing. Let's take it first with advertising. I always think back on how many students chose marketing as a field because they wanted to be making ads. And that's a lesser part of the whole business of marketing, but it's still a very intriguing part. However, the ads that they would like to make are 30-second commercials. You know, they run for about 30 seconds. You hope you can even find out what the name of the company is. Sometimes they'll show a car driving in rough terrain, and maybe in the last minute mention the name of the car. I don't think those ads are very successful. Many of them aren't. They're easily forgotten. They look very much the same. Every car ad looks pretty much the same, unless you have a talking duck or some creature that you invented. But the main thing is, when I look at the best ads made for 30-second commercials, maybe 1 out of 20 or 30 really work. And that's a lot of money that you spent, a lot of cost in not only producing the ad, but then running it, paying for the circulation of the ad. Well, anyways, I did say earlier, in addition to the 30-second commercials, that much more advertising that really works will be targeted to the individual customer with the help, of course, of Facebook, Google, Instagram, and people and those platforms. And those are advertising platforms. Well, not only are they advertising, they have already put together very much information about every person you could be interested in. They won't sell, you can't write to Facebook and say, tell me about person X, everything you know about. No, it's going to be your job as a company to find out what you think is important to know about person X. But Facebook has put together all these people who are supplying information to Facebook, and that explains why they're very effective advertiser. Now, more than advertising, do you know there's a form of it that is so important? That's word of mouth marketing. We trust much more what a friend or a user of some past product says about the product than what the ads are coming out of self-interest, of course. Therefore, they're often exaggerated, but we think our friends and our acquaintances at work and elsewhere tell us what they're feeling about the product we're interested in. And you can trigger more word of mouth. That's the reason I mentioned that. That's a form of advertising that you could trigger. There are a couple of good books on how to create much more word of mouth marketing. And then now every customer can look up so much information. Look, I hear about a new restaurant. Do you think I go there immediately? Even if the word of mouth was my friend saying it's a good restaurant, I look up the reviews, and I may find out that 5 of the 7 people who had food at that restaurant found something wrong with that restaurant. Disappointing. So people are getting more information than they ever got before for making good decisions. Now, what about the sales force and the trends? Well, it's the old problem. Many sales forces are not happy with the marketing group that runs the sales force and all these other 4 Ps. Why not? Well, because salesmen may say, I think they set too high a quota. I can't sell 100 units a week. The price was set too high. No one ever says they saw the ad of the company. The ads are not very good. So one of the points I make is that when I consult the company, I want to talk to the head of marketing separately and then the head of Salesforce separately. I will leave those 2 meetings knowing whether they are not only good people in their own jobs, but if they're working well together. It will tell me what they're saying about the other guy. And if it's bad, if the salesperson is really unhappy with the marketing people and vice versa, that company is going to go down. So watch for that relationship. And I wrote a nice article in the Harvard Business Review called Ending the War Between Marketing and Sales. It's an old article, but it's still quoted all the time about making sure you don't have a war between marketing and sales. And what's worse is that sales forces are finding it difficult to be meeting clients. Let's take the pharmaceutical companies. The pharmaceutical companies send very attractive, enable salespeople to visit a doctor to explain a new drug and so on. And the receptionist at the doctor's office says, no, you can't see the doctor. He's too busy. Please leave the drug with us and leave the brochure, and he'll call you up if he has any questions. There's a lot of places now which doesn't want a salesperson to show up on the grounds that they know enough without taking up their time with a Salesforce presentation. We have a lot to talk about that subject. What about retailing? Retailing has been hit so hard by COVID. Restaurants closed down, hotels could almost close down or had very few rooms sold. Restaurants closed down. The whole idea is people didn't have any vaccine at the time. It took a little time before we could even be vaccinated the first time and then have a booster and so on and so forth. But the real point is there's some forms of retailing that we will always need, even though most people learned how to do online buying in the COVID crisis. In other words, even people who never used a computer realized their friends showed them they should have a computer and place orders for products that will be delivered in the mail to them that they could return if this is being dissatisfied. Online retailing grew very fast. And then those retailers that stayed open were basically car dealerships, because you're not going to buy a car without sitting in it. You're not going to buy furniture without sitting on the furniture. But you don't have to go into a dress shop. There's plenty of online pictures of goods that are available for women to wear without going into the store. Now, will retailing get strong again? Yes, it will. When COVID is over, people like to shop more. However, is the store doing two things: online retailing and in-store retailing? They must do both, not just to do in-store alone. Secondly, the store must be an experience. It must be designed, and the people, the clerks, the salespeople have to be interesting and enthusiastic. Otherwise, they won't come back a second time. And now, as far as other things, we better move on. The fourth question is, what role is marketing and CMOs going to play in companies? Now, the name we're using is Chief Marketing Officers. And you may call your person the Vice President of Marketing or some other name, of course. But the CMOs in larger companies, they worked very hard during COVID, and with the new second problem that begins with the C, climate change. And in fact, there was much disappointment by a lot of big companies that the marketing didn't work as well as they had hoped. Of course, it's very hard to deliver the results we were delivering before COVID. And the CMOs did their best. But can you imagine they couldn't have live meetings with people and gather them and get them into stores and so on. So we'll see what will happen to that ability. And another unhappy thing is that CMOs are losing full control. Technically, from the time I wrote my book in 1967 on marketing management, I said, marketing doesn't work unless the chief marketing officer runs all four things. All right, product. Well, do you know there are still companies that develop a new product without having any marketer as part of the team? In fact, these are companies that say to the marketer, well, we finally tested and made this new product, and now it's your turn to sell it for us. The poor salesperson will probably say, Jesus, seems to me you didn't put in enough of the things that customers will want. I think your price is too high. I think the promotion, the ads you're talking about as a possibility is awful. In other words, shouldn't the CMO control all four Ps? It turns out that we're losing even control of price. You know that the finance people, they want to set the price. They say, oh, here's the price that will deliver the return that we want. So they have to negotiate with the marketing planners about what is the best price. What about just delivering goods to the distribution centers and to the stores? That's a logistics problem. It has to do with the one that we call, one of the P's is place is called place, because marketers should take care of arranging the channels of distribution, the locations where people will get the goods. But the fact is that there's even less control there. So how if I used to think that maybe the CMO at least runs price, but even there it's not that simple. But the good CMOs are respected in their companies, and they spend a lot of time, at least 50% of their time, with the other chief officers, because the good news is they have a job in which they have the title chief too. They're working with the chief finance officer, the chief human resources officer, the chief product development officer, etc. Now, the thing is that I'm noticing that some companies want to generalize or change the name CMO. This is not happening very broadly. Some want to call the person the CGO, Chief Growth Officer. Growth. Well, I thought marketers were all about delivering growth, sales. And well, maybe growth takes more than just marketing training. It takes economic training and some other things. I don't know. Another time that said is, how about the chief revenue officer? Shouldn't the job be in the hands of someone who is responsible for all the revenue that should come into the company? Of course, most of the revenue comes in from the goods and services being sold. And then there's a couple of companies that renamed the marketing person Chief Customer Officer, Chief Customer Officer. So you can think about that and find what you're comfortable with using. Now we've got one more big question, because we're coming down to some end remarks, and that is, what marketing responsibilities should companies address? Now, I've already talked to you about companies that do say we're for profit mainly or only. And I told you that that's a limited way to think. And that's when I said, let's be stakeholder oriented. And there's lots of goods, lots of things we want to create successfully in our team. To have a good team, everyone has to feel a winner, not just the shareholders, everyone working for the company. Well, the new thing that's happening for responsibility is we now ask companies to pursue profits, but also to pursue sustainability. And sustainability is about making sure that we leave the world and our next generation in the same way, at least, if not better, than we experienced the world in our lives. And that means it means several things that I'm going to come to in a moment on sustainability. Another thing I would say that it does mean is we should run a circular economy instead of a linear economy as companies. You know, most companies simply make something and sell it, and then they have no further interest in what happens to it. In other words, if the product dies, well, they'll fix the product. But if the product is to be thrown away because it's finished, who throws it away? Well, just the owner puts it in a garbage can or puts it in a land heap. But a company that cares about us running a circular economy doesn't want to see anything wasted. They want to take care of the company making the product, selling the product, and disposing of the product. Because the product probably has copper in it, chips in it, things that should be recovered. And so basically, more and more of our thinking has to be sort of make, sell, and use and reuse and dispose of. Now, another thing about responsibility is companies want their brand to mean something more than we sell product X. How about it showing your character and showing your values as a company? How about choosing a cause that you should care about as a company? And hopefully it's not a highly debated cause, because then that's going to put you on the side of you're against guns or for guns, or you're for abortion, or if we're against abortion. No, I don't mean, maybe causes like everyone is against seeing hunger, so you can be the company that wants to say that it's doing a lot to fight hunger. So choose a cause that will give more value creation in your business. Look, I was very impressed with several of our companies when Russia invaded Ukraine. Our companies, US companies, thought very seriously about how can they keep making money in Russia while Russia is savaging another country. McDonald's withdrew, it closed its McDonald's. And as a matter of fact, McDonald's now in Russia is for sale. Now, that was very courageous. You may not agree that they should have done that. I mean, they gave up a fortune. Although one of those oligarchs in Russia, rich oligarchs, will probably buy it and pay for the present value of the future income stream. In other words, when they take over McDonald's, maybe they will be allowed to use the name McDonald's, or maybe they will not be allowed to use it. But Starbucks just recently said the same thing. We're going to close all the Starbucks. So it shows character and so on. And maybe the real need, because of sustainability, is to embrace a new idea for what business is all about and consumption. And it's called a degrowth, believing we might embrace degrowth. I'm going to say more about that. Let me move on, because here's the reason I get to degrowth. One, industrialization is wonderful. It aims to raise global living standards, and it has. In fact, people want endless economic growth if possible. However, that's not a possible thing to do, endless economic growth, because we have learned that as we increase industrialization, we're increasing pollution and carbon in the atmosphere, and carbon is bad because it's warming the planet. Now, that means we have to balance how much industrialization we can afford to do without burning up the planet, warming it up to the extent that everyone living at the equator flees for their life because they can't breathe at a temperature of 140 Fahrenheit degrees. So sustainability is about meeting present needs without harming future generations. And companies need to help with the greening of the world and the environmental protection of the world. And so we want to be meeting the sustainability challenge. And by the way, companies that start looking at that, they think that, oh, the cost will be high to change their ways. But even if it's high, in the long run, they will be sustainable companies, and the buyers and the millennials, the young people, they want to work for a company that cares about environment. And so you can't really say no to practicing sustainability. Now, what is therefore, if our aim is not endless growth around the world, what do we mean by degrowth? Well, is it possible that the world's population is too large? You know, the world population grew from 3 billion in 1960 to 8 billion in 2022. That's not many years. And what a growth rate. 8 billion. Does the earth have the carrying capacity in terms of food, clothing, and shelter for 8 billion people? Now, we had a big debate about that in the 1970s. It was called the limits to growth debate, and beautiful passages were written about maybe we should go slower. And right now, I found a book by Christopher Tucker, whose title is, the book is called A Planet of 3 Billion. Now, he's not saying you're going to destroy the extra the extra people beyond 3 billion, but he's saying that technically his analysis is that the carrying capacity for a comfortable life would be for 3 billion people. I then read a book called Less is More, subtitled How Degrowth Will Save the World. And Jason Hickel wrote the book, and he suggests 4 things. Hey, let's do a little less advertising, because much of it is to push people into buying things that they can hardly afford. And the only reason they're buying it is because they have credit cards, which only makes more debt, more people bound to debt and suffering. He says, we must have less planned obsolescence. Why do you have to have a new car every 2 years? Why do you have to have the latest cell phone when the one that you have works perfectly well? Less ownership and more sharing of assets. Do you need your own car? Why don't you just share cars? And that's what Uber and Lyft are doing too. The sharing of assets, rather than each of us must have our own lawnmower just to cut grass. No, we should have one lawnmower for a whole set of families who have grass to cut. And then the next idea is more recovering of materials, reusing, more recycling of products and resources. So it's a mindset. So social marketing be the key to pursuing less is more. Now, let me explain what I mean by social marketing. Most marketing is called commercial marketing. It's to buy and sell things. Social marketing is to make corrections where they are obviously needed. For example, under commercial marketing, a company sells cigarettes. Social marketing knows a lot of people are getting ill with cigarettes and dying younger, and it uses the very same marketing tools to help the person not want to smoke or get to start smoking. So social marketing is it's sort of to discipline marketing where it's not really, where commercial marketing isn't really doing the best. For example, a lot of people like to gamble. And so commercial marketers say, let's put up a casino so they can gamble. The social marketer would say, we've got ways to help gamblers stop gambling because they are being hurt so much and never winning, really. So what I'm saying is degrowth means a lot of demarketing campaigns, which I list. One of them is water is in short supply in so many parts of the world. We've got to use marketing to get people to conserve water, to take a shower not every day or every 2 days, but maybe once a week, to stop having grass, growing grass. How about having cacti growing, where it's not live grass, it's just stones and cactuses for their attractiveness, things like that. So I hope I'm getting you to think more about where shall Sri Lanka go, the endless growth idea or the degrowth idea. Let's move to the two more things and we will be finished. I wanted to summarize some ways in which I look at the future. First one is I predict that buyers will be able to select the best brands without much advertising or salespeople in the future. Isn't that interesting? And in other words, the companies will find you without much advertising or salespeople. What will marketing success depend on? It will depend on, first, very smart pricing. Secondly, strong branding. And third, owning dominant channel positions. Those three are magical if you can do that. Secondly, marketing creativity will be crucial, especially since we are moving into the era of experiential marketing, where marketers think it's not just a transaction, it's creating an experience of real value to the customer in the process of buying and selling. Third, marketers will make more use of customer journey marketing, touchpoint marketing, persona marketing, content marketing, and influencer marketing. Four, marketers will use virtual reality to gauge the buyer's interest in a possible new product. Today, a car company never builds a factory to make a new car. It first builds a simulation, a virtual reality. It takes it puts on the computer a drawing of the whole car, and then it makes a simulation where the prospect puts some glasses on, looks through the glasses, and sees himself or herself entering a dealership, seeing the new car, opening the door, turning on the engine and driving it, getting a virtual experience of a car that was never made, but is being planned possibly. And if many of those experiencing this test say they love the experience, the company has enough confidence then to actually build the factory and make the car. Marketers will use neuroscience more and more to identify best stimuli and so on and so forth. Now, I'm going to end with two things. One is this diagram I take from the book H2H, and I go like this. Three bad types of marketing. The first is unethical marketing. That's bad. You may do it for your sake to sell some more things, but from the customer's point of view, it's bad. The second is wasteful marketing. Too many things done that get nowhere with selling more product. And the third bad thing is inane marketing, maybe silly marketing, having clowns. Those three, but what you really are after is H2H marketing, person to person marketing, and so on. And finally, here's what I leave you with as a mantra. Within 5 years, if you're in the same business you are in now, you're going to be out of business. If you don't make changes, you're going to be out of business. And the big mantra is join profitability with sustainability and thereby build a better company of your own and a better company for the people in your country. Well, thank you very much. I wanted to share the evolving situation of marketing in the world with all the things that are happening and where it's going. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Philip Kotler. Thank you very much for the insights shared. I think the last message was very powerful. It's not just the profits, it's the profits plus the sustainability. Indeed, a good message for the Sri Lankan marketing fraternity. Thank you very much. But before we let you go, we do have something special coming up for you. So we respectfully invite for you to stay tuned for a little more with us with this program, Professor Philip Kotler.
Dear Professor, we are honored to have you here, even though it's virtual. We know it's virtual, but we wish we could have you here, in person. However, we did our best because it's your birthday, it's 91, and we wish you to go for 100 and beyond because your wisdom has touched millions of hearts in Sri Lanka and all around the world. So we want to touch your heart on this special day, and it's going to be actually tomorrow. And you're talking of declaring Sri Lanka being the first country to declare your birthday as the National Marketing Day. And Sri Lanka is also the first, Sri Lanka is known by this world because we made the first female prime minister in the world. And we are known for Sri Lankan cricket. And also we are known for Sri Lanka Ceylon tea. And you got the best Sri Lanka Ceylon tea, organic tea from English tea shop. And we hope that you would like it and you would enjoy. And Professor, I just need to bring my memories back 22 years back when I heard of marketing for the first time as a high school student. I didn't know who you were, but I was reading, and then we entered the university to read your books. Your book became the handbook for us, and not only for undergraduates, but also for the professionals who are in the marketing fraternity. We still use your book. Whenever we want to get something clarified, we quickly go back to your book It's our book that we've been referring to the last 20 or number of years, and I'm sure it's the same for many others. And this gratitude comes from the bottom of our heart, Professor, because you are one in a billion. As you said, the carrying capacity of the world is going to be probably 40 billion, and the world needs more and more people like you, who has actually been able to made a huge difference, a felt difference in the world with the way we think, the way we act, and the way we envision future. So, Professor, we are really honored again with your presence, and we wish you all the very best. And you're talking of sustainable marketing, and I'm sure that the time has come for us to also think about the sustainable consumption, because that's the flip side of the coin. So yes, I'm sure that you would use your little time whenever possible to contribute in that aspect as well. And we wish you all the very best, Professor. Good health and more time to read and to contribute to the world. And we wish you all the very best. And that's the message on behalf of all the Sri Lankans and the marketing fraternity that we would like to leave with you, Professor. This marketing day was made for you because we all of us, we felt that we should do our best for the guru that we had never seen. Probably you were here once in Sri Lanka, and but I'm sure that not many were privileged to be listening to you and physically interacting with you. So I also should remember, I should mention about late Professor Udutta Liyanage, and also the marketing bodies like CIM Sri Lanka, SLIM, etc., and all the universities in Sri Lanka who joined and got together to have you here. So, Professor, we wish you more energy, more courage, and more, actually, I would say good health to come up with more and more new concepts, because your mind is working in a truly a new direction, and not many of us can do that. So I think that's the difference. That's why you are a legend, and we wish you all the very best, Professor. And we hope one day to have you here in this paradise when things are back to normal, if the time permits, if things are working in our way, to have you here in person to celebrate your next birthday probably. Until then, Professor, we wish you all the very best, and thank you so much for joining with us.
Well, thank you very much for your remarks. I will say a few things. First of all, I've been to Sri Lanka, Colombo, and I was very impressed. I've been 2 different trips in the past, and speech making. And then secondly, I thank you so much for the effort put in to develop that little biography of mine. I think your students were interested in doing that. They probably looked at my book called My Adventures in Marketing and found good material. And I hope that that's sent to me in a video if possible. So I have a copy. That was
Sure.
a very special thing. I talked to a lot of universities, and some of them don't have the creativity that you have to think how nice it would be to do that. And thirdly, as far as my age, though I'm supposed to be 91, I tell others I feel 60, age 60. I have a friend who is 91. He says he feels like 105. So much of it is how you feel. And I'm raring to go. There's so much I'm interested in, and age has never been something you reach for so you can play golf. I mean, golf is all right, but that's there are better things than just hitting balls around that one can do with their mind and heart, So thank you so much. I'm going to take leave now so my wife can say hello to me. It happens to be my time here in Chicago. It's about 11:35. And yours
25 more minutes to go, and then it's your birthday.
Yeah, but it was a wonderful experience. You've really made my birthday very special, my 2022 birthday very, very special. And I will keep watching for the news about Sri Lanka and what's happening, and best wishes for you all. Thank you, and I'll take leave now.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Sure. Bye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have been a resilient nation. We've gone through many difficult times, tough times, but we've come out of them very successfully. So I'm sure this tough time that we are going through as a nation, we'll be able to get back on our foot, and we'll be able to basically be tracked and, you know, do better things, do good things. But this is the time we need more energy, we need effort, we need courage, we need motivation, and that's the very reason why we join hands with the Open University of Sri Lanka, especially Professor Nalin Abeysekara on his invitation, and his Vice Chancellor, Professor Tilaka Ratna, and all the other veteran marketers in the university system, including Colombo, Jawaharlal, Kelaniya, to all the other universities. We put together our efforts. So there's more to come, and I will hand over to our wonderful lady to take the proceedings forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Denzil. And yes, Professor Philip Kotler has taken his leave, but still we see the birthday wishes coming in. So I guess he also could see all the messages that he received on his 91st birthday. So ladies and gentlemen, I need to make a special mention on Mr. Denzil as well. So he took, after this concept was presented by Professor Nalin Abeysekara, he took the burden, the responsibility of organizing the inaugural marketing day in Sri Lanka. Of course, as you all know, organizing such an event, although it's virtually, is not an easy task. It's really daunting, it's really challenging, especially considering the current situation in Sri Lanka. So on behalf of the Open University of Sri Lanka, as well as all the attendees here who are joining with us virtually, we thank Mr. Denzil for taking this responsibility. Of course, this is a remarkable day. This is a memorable day because the marketing guru of the world, who is popular among the international fraternity as well, joined us live. And this is, of course, a milestone to be celebrated by the marketeers of Sri Lanka. And a special small mention about Mr. Denzil. So he is a chartered marketer, and he's a brand and business strategist, a consultant for several corporate sector organizations in Sri Lanka. And also he's a visiting lecturer for strategic brand management for MBS. And Mr. Denzil has served in the fields of marketing, branding, and sales at multiple organizations. Also, currently, he serves as a board member of Sanasa General Insurance, and also a director of the National Design Center. And of course, he considers procrastination or putting this to tomorrow is not a good thing to be done marketeers by professionals in Sri Lanka, no matter how hard the situation is. And that's why he took the responsibility as a social welfare activity that he does to the upliftment of the marketing fraternity and the future generations of the marketing field in Sri Lanka. So while thanking Mr. Denzil Pereira, we now move on to the next speech of the day. This is also important because this speech is done by Dr. Mahesh Raj Dahal. And if I give a small mention about this personality, he is a senior lecturer, the ambassador for Nepal to Australia, and he is also the former chairman of Nepal Television. So amidst of his busy schedules, he is joining us with us today. So this invitation goes to Dr. Mahesh Raj Dahal to address the audience.
Happy birthday to the professor in the world. Dear participants of today's Zoom online conference, heartily greetings. Namaste from Nepal, the birth country of the Lord Buddha. First of all, I'd like to take this unique opportunity to convey my sincere birthday wishes to Professor Philip Kotler, the father of modern marketing. Many happy returns of the day, wishing you evidence of health and well-being, prosperity and happiness. It is indeed very much appropriate to acknowledge, appreciate and respect Professor Philip Kotler for his great contribution in the domain of marketing. The credit goes to the Professor Kotler for making the world aware that, like any other discipline, marketing is equally important for sustainable development of a country. We express our gratitude to the professor for his services rendered to the marketing fraternity. The initiative taken by Open University of Sri Lanka is commendable. The 27th of May 2022 has been declared as the National Marketing Day of Sri Lanka by the Open University. I'm happy and would like to thank the university for deciding and taking the initiative to separate this day for this purpose. This day signifies the wellness of Sri Lankan people and discussion on the prospects of the country in a development path. 21st century is an era of marketing, and we need to be ahead with the marketing strategies and have such discussion so that we can better promote our brand value all over the world. Gross domestic happiness is also named as a gross national happiness. There are 9 parameters for gross national happiness. The parameters: 1, living standards; psychological well-being; health; time use; culture, diversity and resilience; education; good governance; community vitality; ecological diversity and resilience. Sri Lanka is ranked 129 out of 149 countries in the World Happiness Report 2021, released by the United Nations Sustainable Development Solution Network. Finland was ranked the happiest country in the world, a feat the Nordic nation achieved for the 4th consecutive year. The World Happiness Report is a landmark survey of the stage of global happiness that rank 149 countries by how happy their citizens perceive themselves to be. The annual report ranks national based on gross domestic product per person, healthy life expectancy and opinions of residents. Survey asks respondents to indicate on a 1 and 2 skills how much social support they feel they have if something goes wrong. Their freedom to make their own life choices, their sense of how corrupt their society is and how generous they are. Regular practices in meditation, yoga, prayers, etc. play a vital role in inner peace, calm and happiness. Sri Lanka has majority of people who follow Buddhism. About 70.2% population identifies as Buddhist. And Buddhism teaches us about internal peace and true individual happiness. In Buddhism, happiness is achieved when a person can perceive the true nature of reality, unmodified by the mental constructs we apply to it. In case of Sri Lanka, the most feasible way to uplift the gross domestic happiness is to look back at our ancestry and analyze how they have defined and implemented happiness. In order to brand our nations, we require 2 things. Number 1, infrastructure of the nations, such as transportation, energy communication system, financial, health and education institutions, legal system and government systems. Number 2, people, skills and talent, where people utilize the available resources to create differentiating product of the services that competing nations. In order to promote the skills and talent of people, social marketing is required. Social marketing promotes good health care for people and influence people to adopt a fit and healthier lifestyle. It is also lets people know that one must be aware of the behavioral changes for society, and one must live a quality life in the community. Social marketing's primary purpose is to influence and change our behavior to be beneficial both socially and environmentally. It promotes long-term co-benefits for society. Linking social marketing to 4 P's of marketing as addressed by Professor Kotter. Number 1, product. It is the key benefits provided, key service provided, or any behavior change in society. Number 2, price. It is the cost of stopping unhealthy behavior of people and promoting healthy behavior among people. Number 3, place. It is how accessible is these services and products to engage the healthy behavior of people. Number 4, promotion. It is communication of such behavior to wider range of audience. Once the key attributes and selling points of a country is recognized, the country should consistently promote such products or services. Social marketing is important to aware the citizen about their potential, people skills and talent, and promotion of healthy behaviors. The use of 4Ps strategy would help to better market the healthy behaviors among population. Furthermore, it is helpful to communicate the value of target audience for the long-term sustainable benefit of the society. This will be a key to promote the products and services of Sri Lanka, which differentiates the country from other countries and helps sustainable tourism in the country. Dear undergraduate students, social marketing primary purpose is to influence and change our behavior to be beneficial both socially and environmentally. It promotes long-term co-benefits for society. Social marketing puts forward behavior change to generate long-term mutual goods. For example, it might encourage people to reduce their consumption of fast food or alcohol, increase their consumption or organic food, and encourage a healthy lifestyle in the healthy society, in the health sector. Social marketing provides a competitive advantage for companies and consumers who prefer to buy product from businesses that are ethical and socially responsible. It is natural that such trends are expected to grow in the popularity as campaigns and concern over social and environmental issues increase. All these efforts to promote their behavior of citizens to benefit the society ultimately will lead to personal happiness once people are personally satisfied with the lifestyle. They become more dedicated for promoting the nation brand. This can lead to sustainable marketing of the country. Last but not the least, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this online Zoom International Conference for this opportunity to be a speaker from Nepal. I would like to end my speech with a quotation from Professor Kotler. Marketing is not the art of finding clever way to dispose of what to make. It is the art of creating genuine customer value. I wish this conference a good success. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was Dr. Mahesh Raj Dahal, exclusively from Nepal. And thank you very much for accepting our invitation once again. We know how busy you are. Thank you very much for sparing time with us amidst your busy schedule, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, next in line, we do have another speech by a person that is known to all of us, especially the international marketing fraternity, when it comes to service marketing, building and developing service culture there is one name of a personality that we all recall of. That is none other than Ron Kaufman. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to listen to a few words by Ron Kaufman. Of course, he is renowned in the world for building up service cultures. So, ladies and gentlemen, this chance goes to Ron Kaufman.
Hello to all of you, my dear friends in Sri Lanka. This is Ron Kaufman coming to you from Singapore to wish you a very warm congratulations on your first ever National Marketing Day. I know that Sri Lanka is in a challenging situation at the moment, but you stand on a strong and solid foundation, and from there you will create an even more magnificent future. I know because I have been with you when I came to be with you live in Sri Lanka to deliver the #1 Service Guru event. And what an event it was. Look at the size and the scale and the contribution and service to the nation that you've been bringing for so many years. Such a joy to be with you. So genuinely inspiring to get right out there with you face to face and discuss the future of the nation, uplifting the service that you provide in every walk of life. And when we all came together at the end of that day, we knew that we were speaking in one voice, a positive voice for the future, to stand up and make the future even better than the present is today. I believe in you, Sri Lanka. Wishing you the very best on this first ever National Marketing Day. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and ladies and gentlemen, that was Ron Kaufman, and bringing back his memories when he was in Sri Lanka as well. So, as I mentioned before, we do have the representatives, especially representing the academic and corporate sectors globally and as well as locally. So this Marketing Day, we are celebrating with the state and non-government, that is the private sector universities in Sri Lanka. So ladies and gentlemen, we do have one legend joining hands with us today, who is none other than Professor Ravi Dissanayake, the head of the Department of Marketing Management of the Faculty of Commerce and Management of University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka. I do not actually need to give a brief introduction because we all know him, but still I will just give a brief introduction. He's a researcher, very popular consultant, especially with regards to consulting the private sector of Sri Lanka. And also he is a researcher, basically having research skills with when it comes to business development, new venture creations, management development programs, and also customer care training. So ladies and gentlemen, this opportunity now goes to the Professor Ravi Dissanayake, the head of Department of Marketing of Management of University of Kelaniya.
Hello everyone, I'm Professor Ravi Dissanayake, Head Department of Marketing Management, University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka. It's a great honor for me to represent this remarkable event organized by the Open University of Sri Lanka. Tribute to great guru in marketing, Professor Kotler, and while celebrating his birthday and then making a certain connection to marketing fraternity of Sri Lanka. Especially, I would like to appreciate the tremendous and the priceless contribution made by Professor Kotler for the marketing fraternity, giving kind of professional edge and the knowledge edge into marketing as one of the remarkable subject areas in business domain. I want to highlight one thing. Sri Lanka is one of the countries in the world having its own uniqueness in terms of heavy industries and being located in one of the strategic locations in the world, especially in the Indian subcontinent. And we are having a lot of opportunities to open the avenues to work with the rest of the world. Marketing as one of the key functions in organization, still I believe, not only in Sri Lanka, even other countries, especially developing and kind of underdeveloped countries, they need to have a special focus on marketing as one of the strategically important functions other than the traditional functions. Therefore, what Philip Kotler has done in terms of knowledge sharing, and of course, the way how he has done the communication to the rest of the world, and specifically some of the publications have properly addressed the timely needed requirements of marketing into different passage of times, including with reference to different geographical concerns. For example, South Asian perspective. Especially Sri Lankan companies, including SMEs, very importantly, they can absorb the right insight of marketing through the case study base and mini case study based explanations what Kotler has defined and explained to absorb marketing not as a rocket science, but as very grounded and business model connected subject and the function. And we have enough people, enough thinkers, concept developers. Sometimes I believe what we are lacking is proper executors. Without marketing knowledge, without marketing sense of execution of a project, execution of a business plan, will not reach for the success result. And I believe and I always encourage our Sri Lankan enterprises, including SME sector organizations, to cater marketing as one of the strategically important functions and investments. That mindset change is very much required for modern day organization. We are rather know that late, but either we are so early for that. But I think rather postponing this discipline in our organizations, getting to marketing as one of the key drivers is very important. We have a lot of avenues to read and understand. I think what Professor Philip Kotler has done without any doubt to the marketing fraternity is very important because it very precisely discusses and then soundly communicates marketing into practice. This is not limited as a rocket science. The way he has explained with his co-authors how the marketing has to be implemented in different sectors, different industries, even scales of organizations is very commendable. I invite Sri Lankan enterprises, including SMEs, as I mentioned earlier, read them, understand them, and importantly, implement the organization with organizational specific business model. This is what the best thing what we can do as a tribute to what Professor Kotler has been doing for years to marketing fraternity. If we can prove that what he and his authors have done to the world in terms of marketing knowledge sharing is completely practical, is completely adding value to organization, that's the best tribute what we can do for Professor Kotler. I invite all the enterprises, business leaders, professionals, read and then as the way how he has mentioned in his books, customize into your organization. Apply marketing into different, maybe we talk about 3.0, 4.0 marketing, and always consider marketing as one of the important integral components of your business model. Don't make it alien. And make sure, as what Professor Kotler mentioned, internalization. Without internal marketing, you can't apply proper marketing model, proper business marketing model. So there you are. There are a lot of opportunities for you to further read and then comprehensively understand how that connects to the business planning, strategy development of organization without looking to traditional components only. Take marketing into that of important component category. Then you can get 360-degree very successful business plan execution. I think that's the best impact, what we all know about, and I must appreciate the Kotler impact strategy as well, Kotler impact mechanism and the projects as well. We can create impact to our organization, impact to our society and the lives of people if we comprehensively understand the meaning of what Prof. Kotler said, and then apply in a customized manner for our country, for our market and organization. I think that's the best thing we have to do, because marketing is as such very dynamic subject discipline. It changes like every second, where we have no more exact concluded things for many areas in business management, or including marketing. But Prof. Kotler has given us the thinking option, proper think tank for us to think, for us to craft it and implement in a way we want. So that's what the best thing we can do. If you for an example, like I say, Sri Lanka is anyway a brand location. And I wonder how far we have really capitalized that opportunity. Country branding, industry branding, into the global economy, how our country has to be communicated. And if you look at the internal industry perspectives, how our industries have to develop, firstly, the sector brand, and then organizations, and then product brands. So we have enough reading opportunities to understand how these things to be combined into our business model, and finally to create what Professor Kotler always mentioned, value creation. So value creation is no more limited to a theory. It has to be in our practice. So we have been given enough avenues, options to read and understand how that of value creation could be well organized, well executed within our organizational environment. That's the best thing what we can do to make a remarkable tribute to this great marketing guru, Professor Kotler. So whilst once again appreciating what he has done for the marketing as a subject area, marketing as a profession, and marketing as a part of the consumer life, I want to appreciate the effort made by Open University of Sri Lanka and initiating to call a National Marketing Day for Sri Lanka. That's also good. I believe in future this effort will be further established with a lot of organizational contributions and professional contribution, take into the next level of Sri Lankan Marketing Day. So that has to be the prime opportunity, prime strategy, what we have to do as academia and practitioners of marketing fraternity in Sri Lanka. So thank you very much, Open University of Sri Lanka, for initiating this type of knowledge forum. And then I invite all the participants, all the listeners to get the maximum out of it and take marketing as one of the most important strategic components into organization. Whilst you being professional marketers, make marketing as a professional input to your organization. There you are, your organization, your industry, and finally our country will be benefited out of this great subject discipline called marketing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Professor Ravi Dissanayake. And next in line, we do have Professor Amila Jayarathne, who was a former head of the Department of Marketing Management of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. While welcoming her on board, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to listen to what she has to say about her opinion about this inaugural. Sorry for the inconvenience caused, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we faced some technical issues, but still the show goes on. So what I was mentioning was the next in line was Professor Amila Jayarathne, who was the former head of the Department of Marketing Management of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. So while welcoming her on board, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to listen to the words that she has to say at this special occasion where we mark the inaugural National Marketing Day. Since we get her on board, Professor Amila Jayarathne, ladies and gentlemen, a few announcements to be made. Like as I mentioned at the beginning, this inaugural National Marketing Day, we mark on the 27th of May, 2022 today. actually is declared by the Faculty of Management Studies of Open University of Sri Lanka, sponsored by the English Tea Shop, and it is organized by Mr. Denzel Pereira. So since all our technical issues are sorted, we are moving on to the next item on the agenda. As I mentioned, this is Professor Amina Jairatna sharing her ideas on this special occasion.
Good morning, I'm everyone. Professor Dilip Scott here, Mother of Marketing, delegates from the Open University and from the universities, representatives from the corporate sector, and students, both undergraduates and postgraduates in Sri Lankan context. In fact, it's a great pleasure for me to pass my message at this special occasion called as National Marketing Day of Sri Lanka. As a gratitude for the service rendered by Professor Kotler to the marketing discipline, this special day has been organized by the Open University. So it's my pleasure to pass my message at this event. First of all, let me give my best wishes for Professor Kotler for his birthday today. In fact, as one of the academics in the marketing discipline in National University, I wish him a long life and may all his dreams come into reality and the future endeavors be successful. I wish that he will get more strength and energy to drive the marketing discipline even for future decades. In fact, most of the concepts, theories, strategies, and models that we use in the marketing discipline were incepted by Professor Kotler and his team. So, as professor in marketing who involved with teaching and research activities with more than 19 years of experience, I would like to pay my gratitude to him. Very humble way for such a wonderful and fruitful initiation that he has been involved in for decades now. In fact, he is such a wonderful personality to customize the disciplinary knowledge to a particular context. Like, say, for an example, so he has discussed the lot of theories, concepts, and models in the Asian perspective with the developing countries' focus. Even though he is predominantly writing with the global vision for marketing. In addition to the different perspectives that he has been given so far, he also has been given the priority for some timely important areas in marketing throughout the last decades. We witnessed from his books like In Addition to Marketing Management and the Principles of Marketing Perspective. So among the many books that he has contributed scholarly, Marketing 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 2.0, that he has given different priority to timely important areas. Among them, social marketing and technological aspects that we discuss are very salient, especially in the current context as a globe and as a country, where we are suffering from lots of challenges, mainly the economic crisis caused by the pandemic. That's really handicapped the entire world, including Sri Lanka. The pandemic creates the need for addressing many social aspects in marketing, while giving the best solution to the customer base by fulfilling the profitability for the companies. So, in the coming decades, I personally believe that we as marketers should think seriously on social marketing side and try to invent new theories, concepts, and certainly with new applications to address different social issues and concerns. Because as it's caused by the COVID pandemic and also being continued, especially in the Sri Lankan context with economic crisis. So different social groups are in real need. So as in the commercial world, the companies and also the other organizations, we have to, while we are functioning marketing at different level, certainly we have to address those social concerns for the survival, not only for the companies, but also the entire world as a society. So social marketing would be, even in the future, also would be a very timely important area. Further, I also believe as the entire discipline is moving towards the online platform, along with the advancements of the technology, more emphasis will certainly be on digital aspects of marketing, which will provide reinterpretation of conventional theories, models, and practices. So, this letter devote this kind of special day for marketing, especially for scholars and also for other stakeholders to have an intellectual dialogue within the scope of marketing that will certainly benefit and also it will craft the future of marketing discipline. With my best wishes, I'd like to thank the Open University for organizing this for such wonderful initiation and also getting the contribution from different scholars from different parts of the world, of course, including the marketing guru, the father of marketing, the head scholar, such a recognized the scholar to his humble contribution for our event. Also, I firmly believe that this is a productive platform to have a scholarly discussion on marketing discipline and its future. So it's a good opportunity for all the participants, especially the undergraduates and the postgraduate students, those who are the budding marketers, because one day you will write the future of marketing, maybe as a scholar or as a practitioner. At last, giving my best wishes for this event today, I hope we all can contribute at our fullest capacity to let the discipline further grow for the betterment of the nation and the world at large. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Amila Jayaratne from the University of Sri Jayawardenepura. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had the representation from the University of Kelaniya, from the University of Jayawardenepura, and now we are moving on to the University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka. So, ladies and gentlemen, I consider it my privilege inviting Professor Dinesh Samarasinghe, who is a professor, researcher, and consultant in marketing and entrepreneurship. He's representing the Department of Industrial Management, Faculty of Business of University of Moratuwa. So, Professor Dinesh Samarasinghe, this is over to you.
Very good morning, distinguished guests, academics, and other invitees. First, I should be mentioning the very important event today. We are going to declare in Sri Lanka with the leadership of Faculty of Management Studies of Open University. This Sri Lankan National Marketing Day. It's a very special occasion for all of us, academics, industries, as well as students of marketing. I think the marketing patent in Sri Lanka is going to be a very grand event. This declaration is happening in parallel to our marketing guru, Professor Philip Kotler. He is distinguished professor in marketing, Kellogg Schools of Management. Therefore, this is a very unique situation for the Sri Lankan academia. And I should be thankful to the Open University of Sri Lanka Faculty of Management Studies for organizing this event and inviting all the academics representing Sri Lankan universities, as well as the industry practitioners, to talk something about this event, and most importantly, say happy birthday to our marketing guru, Professor Philip Kotler. Representing Faculty of Business, University of Moratuwa, I would like to say Professor Philip Kotler very happy birthday, and I wish him good health, happiness, and more energy to further provide us insights in the marketing and other business allied disciplines with a futuristic view. I think this is a very important day for Sri Lanka. As a National Marketing Day, the very first time we are going to link the academia. Therefore, the credit should be given to Professor Nalin Abeysekara, who came up with the initial idea from Open University, Department of Marketing Management, as well as the event coordinator, Mr. Denzel Pereira. I think at this moment, we can say Professor Philip Kotler, who gave us very basic knowledge of marketing when we were in the undergraduate through his Principles of Management book. I think everyone of you knows about this book. Therefore, I think we feel really happy at his 92nd birthday to celebrate this one. Happy birthday, marketing guru, Professor Philip Kotler. In parallel to this, we learn marketing from different perspectives according to Philip Kotler's conceptualization. 20 years back when I was an undergraduate, I read his two marketing books, Principles of Marketing, as well as Marketing Management. And I learned that marketing is not the art of finding clever ways to dispose what you make. It is the art of creating genuine customer value. Therefore, Philip Kotler provided these basic insights. I think that has become a reality today. Therefore, I find at this moment, it's really important to see the future insights. I think Philip Kotler introduced several steps of the evolution of marketing. Marketing 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. Then today, after marketing 6.0, he's talking about customers should be understood as humans with emotions. Then in marketing philosophy evolution, he talks about marketing should be digitally driven, digital marketing era. And further, he introduced information era. Today we are talking about AI, then big data, then marketing and the technology. The marriage is happening. I think that is another insights. I think he's bridging this into the future. Therefore, we should be grateful for this great marketing guru providing these insights. Not only that, he introduced Marketing 6.0, where he talks about marketing should be performing entrepreneurial role, marketing and entrepreneurship. I think that is very important for Sri Lanka as well. With the current economic crisis, in the last 2 years we experienced COVID-19 pandemic. In the pandemic and in the economic crisis, the role of marketing, it's always evolving and dynamic. Kotler taught us about the marketing, and today is talking about sustainability marketing. I think this is a very important message for Sri Lanka to promote sustainability and marketing. It is not to improve the sales or sales targets. It is to create delight customers, and also environmental well-being. Everyone, every stakeholder should be happy, and win-win situation should be created. I think that basic message is further extending into this sustainability marketing. Therefore, for Sri Lankan economy also we find sustainable consumption paradigm is very critical. As Professor, I think, about 10, 15 years back, highlighted that. Today it has become a reality and the need of the day for Sri Lanka as well as for the whole world. And at this moment, further I mentioned, if I can remember correct, 2012, when Professor Philip Kotler visited Sri Lanka, Professor Nalin Abeysekara tried to link Philip Kotler and the particular Sri Lankan entrepreneur, Hinya Puhang. The particular similarity of the insights and the thoughts Philip Kotler proposed about customer as a human being, and Hinya Puhami, the great entrepreneur in Sri Lanka, his philosophy also about the customer as a human being and an emotional person. Therefore, we should consider this as a very important dimension in marketing and also in the Sri Lankan academy and the industry, linking global things with local things. Localization, Professor Philip Kotler introduced. Therefore, that is really becoming a reality today. And at this moment, further I should mention, Professor Philip Kotler has shown us the future. He is a particular linking bridge, the marketing past and the present as well as the future. Therefore, I think Professor Philip Kotler at this moment, I'm really paying my gratitude to you for giving us these insights and also for the future. Therefore, with the emerging Industry 4.0, the experience today with the technology, marketing roles has been evolving and will evolve further into technology and the human-driven marketing together, as you mentioned. And also, this is very important for Sri Lankan SME sector as well. If you look at a lot of countries, developed countries, more than 80% of their GDP comes from SME. But in Sri Lanka, it is around 50, less than 60%. Therefore, I think what last mentioned, marketing 6.0, entrepreneurship should be linked with marketing. Therefore, for sustainability and the development of a country, this is very important for Sri Lankan SMEs to look at the marketing in a different way, how to improve the GDP macro level picture through the marketing and the sustainability. Therefore, at this moment, the message we get for our industry academy as well as for the undergraduate, marketing is evolving and marketing is multidisciplinary. It is not limited to marketing department, as Professor Philip Kotler says. It is everyone's job in organization. Therefore, regardless of the organizational boundaries, we learn that Kotler's basic teachings still applicable, and in the future also it will be very much valid. Multidisciplinary role of marketing. Therefore, I think we can take this opportunity to get together and have a collaboration, the industry, academia, and the practitioners to talk about Sri Lankan marketing disciplines. Sometimes we talk about indigenous marketing. I think there are a lot of local marketing practices. We can link them to global marketing practices and find new models. Even our late professor of University of Sri Jayawardenepura, Professor Udita Liyanagi, also introduced some models, democratic consumer, and different models to understand the Sri Lankan consumer with the global mindset. Therefore, I think it's high time for the marketing fraternity to get these very important insights provided by Philip Kotler, our marketing guru, declaring this marketing day on his 92nd birthday, and to celebrate this by having something value addition to the Sri Lankan economy through the marketing practice, which can be always having some creative, innovative flavor. That's the secret of marketing discipline. That's why it's always getting dynamic and always solving problems in the society with not only micro marketing, macro marketing aspect. Professor Philip Kotler, being an economist, he's telling that marketing is practical economics. Therefore, I think at this moment we should take these important insights of our marketing guru, and as an Sri Lankan industry academia undergraduates, we should further dig into this and try to get what these insights and try to apply that in order to improve the economic well-being of the country during the crisis. Therefore, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my views. Philip Kotler, I wish you again very good health, happiness, and the energy to introduce new models and inspire us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Dinesh Samarasinghe. So, ladies and gentlemen, from the University of Moratuwa, now we are moving on to the Southeastern University of Sri Lanka. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite Professor M.I.M. Hilal, the head of department, Professor in Marketing Management, Department of Marketing Management, Faculty of Management and Commerce of Southeastern University of Sri Lanka. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear what he has to say on this inaugural Day of Marketing in Sri Lanka.
Respected Philip Kotler, Professor Nalin Abhisekara, Dean, Faculty of Management Studies, Open University of Sri Lanka, and guests and dignitaries who are participating or presenting on the most valuable marketing day celebrated in our country today with mark of the birthday of our father of modern marketing, Professor Philip Kotler, today. Indeed, I'm very much happy to deliver a few words on this birthday of the father of modern marketing, Professor Philip Kotler, today. In fact, his contribution to the field of marketing is immense, as the book authored by him is referred, so not only by the students and academics, but also by the professionals and practitioners of marketing in the world. In fact, it gives me a great pleasure in delivering few words on this auspicious marketing day with regard to the importance of marketing to the small and medium enterprises in our country. First of all, I would like to just submit the definition given by Professor Philip Kotler in his books, right? So he defines that marketing is satisfying customers' profitability. So this is, in one of his books, okay? So which is one of the most relevant and right definitions of marketing. So the definition itself explicitly provides the importance of marketing. So according to the definitions, Philip Kotler emphasizes that while satisfying the customers, so the firm or the organization should get the profitability out of it. On this day, I would like to inform you all that marketing is, and it's important, should reach the small and medium enterprises in the country, irrespective of the national or regional entrepreneurs. I would also suggest that small and medium enterprises should be marketing oriented. So, when the small and medium enterprises are marketing oriented, so the profitability is also enhanced. So this is the finding, right? So not only in the Sri Lanka, even in other countries too. So this is due to the fact that marketing orientation and performance of organizations are found to be linked positively. I would say that marketing orientation is one of the elements in the strategic orientation, so which is vital in the business scenario. Hence, a greater consideration should be given by the small and medium enterprises to the marketing orientation. I remember that market orientation impacts entrepreneurial orientation, which enhances the organizational performance and creates competitive advantage for the organizations. Therefore, I would like to emphasize that the marketing should further to be adapted in terms of enhancing the performance along with the innovation strategies too. So this is in fact a positive impact caused by the marketing orientation leads to innovation in SMEs, and thereby a performance enhancement is also ensured. So therefore, the marketing, right, marketing theories and marketing aspects, right, needs more localization in our country, right, so that all the entrepreneurs and everyone should be aware of the marketing knowledge, right, marketing knowledge, and that is why the indigenous marketing is also in our country is important, and it requires a study that has to be carried out. So this is actually emphasized by Professor Nalin Abeysekara in our country. So now, marketing is very much important aspect in the context of post-COVID environment, right, prevailing in our country. So many businesses and industries, right, so face with threats, right, posed by the COVID impacts, right, so which need to be perceived as opportunity where the marketing is playing the role, enabling the business to be improved. So therefore, right, so marketing knowledge, right, therefore marketing knowledge immensely contribute the small and medium enterprises in our country and help achievement of their vision of the organizations. So in this context, right, I would also like to emphasize that the marketers need to pay great attention, right, to the ethical aspects of marketing in the current business scenario, right, amidst the present crisis of our country is now facing. So I don't want to take much more time, right, in explaining the importance of marketing to the small and medium enterprises. At this juncture, right, I would like to thank, right, Professor Nalin Abhisekara, Dean, Faculty of Management Studies, Open University of Sri Lanka, for giving me an opportunity to say a few words on this marketing day with mark of Professor Philip Kotler, the father of modern marketing today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Hilal. Thank you very much for the insights shared and your message on this special day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the next element of the agenda. We have Dr. Ruangi Chandrasekara, who is the head of Department of Marketing, Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo, Sri Lanka. Madam Ruangi Chandrasekara, this invitation goes to you to share your message and insights with the audience.
It is an honor and privilege to be a part of this annual event taking place to commemorate the dynamic discipline of marketing, along with the birthday of an exceptional personality, Professor Philip Kotler. Let me start by wishing you a very happy birthday, dear Professor. I feel blessed to be sharing my birthday with you today, and let me wish you a good health and peace of mind as you mark another year in this eventful journey. Let me also take a moment to thank the Open University of Sri Lanka for the great initiative taken to celebrate the marketing discipline on a separate day and for organizing an event of this nature, especially with the participation of Professor Philip Kotler. I hope you will be able to carry this forward to even greater heights in the coming years. Despite the countless criticisms aimed at marketing, as Professor Kotler has also acknowledged over the years, we can't undermine the fact that the marketing discipline has played a huge role in raising our standard of living while being a strong driver of organizational success and economic growth. It has evolved in unimaginable ways since the modern marketing concepts were first developed and passed many milestones by now, from the ever-popular marketing mixes to the STP strategies, to branding, to relationship marketing, and in more recent times, marketing in a globalized world while facing new economies, and of course, a very pertinent area in today's society, digital marketing practices. In many of these areas, Professor Kotler has made unparalleled contributions to the theory and practice of marketing. Marketing in the 21st century is indeed a different experience for all of us. And the idea of using marketing to address social behaviors, or social marketing as we call it, is a concept that serves a very timely need, especially with the increasing criticisms aimed at marketing today. Whether it is to influence people towards healthy eating, to persuade people to purchase local products, to inspire people to engage in environmentally safer consumption practices, social marketing practices are in high need today in order to address a number of social issues the world is facing.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ruangi Chandrasekara. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion, accepting the invitation on this special day. So, ladies and gentlemen, next we have the representation from University of Jaffna. Since we mark a special day, the collaboration, the combination of all state universities that take the pioneership in developing the marketing fraternity of Sri Lanka is very vital. So that's why we have invited all the universities to collaborate with us on this special day. So ladies and gentlemen, the next in line, we do have Professor Shivani Shanmugadas, Professor in Marketing, Department of Marketing of Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce from University of Jaffna. So, Madam, this invitation goes to you to share your insights.
Tributes to father of modern marketing, Professor Philip Kotler, on his 91st birthday. From the knowledge I learned from his writings, I am very delighted to deliver a speech on marketing knowledge for shaping the human community and upgrading micro, small, medium enterprises for sustainable development in the new normal era. Happy birthday to you, marketing professor, author, economist, and consultant of the modern marketing world. Department of Marketing, Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka, wishes you on this special day today, on 27th of May, 2022. Professor Kotler's contributions to the marketing field are remarkable and well known. Amazing work he did in early 1960. Those miracles of how deeply he understood businesses without computers and the internet, and how his analysis makes so much intellect today. Having more than 60 years of experience in teaching, writing, and consultation in marketing has created many groundbreaking concepts, including marketing mix, prosumers, atmospherics, demarketing, societal marketing, and authentic marketing. Professor Kotler designates strategic marketing as a link between society's needs and its design of business response. He's discovered new marketing knowledge from his own experiences and created many new insights to reshape societal needs. His perspective on modern marketing. From his point of view, marketing is an imperative discipline and plays a major role in the economic development of a nation. Marketing has acquired a vital place in the economic expansion of any country by offering jobs and foreign currency to the nations. It can motivate people to innovate new things and start new enterprises for producing goods that are needed by the consumers. As whole, marketing is an essential in developing nations. Marketing embraces sustainability by creating strategies that reduce waste and working cost. Marketing respects the environment and social aspects. It aims to advance the life quality of people by encouraging products, services, and ideas that don't damage the environment. Disasters in the modern marketing era. Our customs are altering as our lives are changed by the deviations brought by the economic crisis continued by COVID-19. The vital we must note is that the current situation doesn't create marketing opportunities. As academics understood marketing from Professor Kotler, we need to help people in our economy via two urgent marketing practices. First is educating marketing knowledge to the businesses and motivating them to apply them correctly in a socially responsible way. The second one is supporting the local resources-based enterprises for their sustainable future in the uncharacteristic conditions in the market. Marketing works for two sides of the coin. One is customers who need ethics and social responsibility practices. And on another side of the coin, it helps enterprises that contributes the greatest to the economy. On the first side, it is essential to give knowledge to young people to obtain skill, knowledge, and attitudes relevant to their functioning as consumers and steering their entities in the marketplace. Marketing motivates consumers for responsible consumption to reduce environmental impact and footprint. We must promote to our young generations to learn marketing concepts and philosophies to reshape our human community and the enterprises as well. On the other side, when the enterprises hold on to ethics for socially responsible marketing, they can win this new normal era that has challenges they never face. Ethical marketing is not as considerable of a marketing strategy and more a philosophy that informs all marketing efforts. It trails to promote morality, justice, and accountability in all marketing practices. For this aim, as academics and practitioners, we must work together to promote ethical marketing practices for shaping the human community to reach its sustainable development goals. Marketing knowledge can support the enterprises that contributes much to the economy, especially micro, small, medium enterprises. Marketing knowledge for micro, small, medium enterprises. In Sri Lanka, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises play a major role in the economy by their contributions to the national economic growth and employment. Currently, in a compound, modest, and unstable business environment, the adoption of sustainable marketing principles supports for stable and sustainable growth of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, and to a large extent, their survival depends on it. So far, the relationship between micro, small, medium enterprises and sustainability is mutually interdependent. And the success of sustainability agenda is very conditioned by micro, small, medium enterprises, while the growth of them cannot be achieved without the integration of sustainability principles into their marketing strategy. On the greatest day of marketing guru's birthday, I would say 2 points here. One is, everyone can understand the need for marketing knowledge for the younger generation to reshape the human community to recover our economic bounds. Second, we need unique marketing strategies to improve and redesign the micro, small, medium enterprises in our country. Unique marketing strategies for micro, small, medium enterprises. As Hotler mentioned, these strategies are most suitable for them. Some of the examples are creating networks around the world and connecting with the relevant segments. And also we need some tools like vulnerability analysis, opportunity analysis, and scenario planning. As Hotler mentioned in 2021, we are in the era of corporate social responsibility to reach our sustainable development goals. He also further mentioned the long-standing winners and market leaders are the marketers who shape the human community through their socially responsible practices. Therefore, micro, small, medium enterprises need special marketing strategies to recover from the new normal era. We need to work on that. On this happiest day of the birthday of the professor, all can realize the importance of marketing knowledge in the special era, which we have been stressing with. Thanks to the head and staff of the Department of Marketing, Faculty of Management Studies, Open University of Sri Lanka for this opportunity given to me on the day of the greatest guru's birthday. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, madam. And ladies and gentlemen, she was Professor Shivani Shanmugadas, representing the University of Jaffna. So we have the Uva Vellas University of Sri Lanka next. I consider it my privilege inviting Professor Imali N. Fernando, Professor in Management, Department of Management Sciences, Faculty of Management of Uva Vellas University, to share her insights on this special day.
Hi all, congratulations Open University and thank you very much for inviting me to share my thoughts about marketing management. Today, as an academic, so how I see today's marketplace, so how I see today's marketing strategies to be rolled up to enhance economic prosperity. Okay, so those things I need to highlight in my very short speech. Further, here I'm going to speak about two more important things. So the first thing is the entrepreneurial marketing. So how you get into the entrepreneurship, how your entrepreneurial attitude into the marketing activity. So the entrepreneurship, without any doubt, is the backbone of a country. So if you take an economy, so there should be a backbone. Now, Sri Lankan context, so entrepreneurship plus entrepreneurial venture creation can be hindered by majority of the factors. That may be practical issues, that may be financial issues, but by the way, why do people need to understand the marketing? So do we have anything called the entrepreneurial marketing? So to bring the customer to the entrepreneurship? Of course. So why do we so? So what I need to highlight about the local brand development. The local, when you're developing a local brand, so by the way, so that's going to be one of the ways how you can practice foreign exchange to your country, and the other way around, so each will minimize the importations which are coming from other countries, so you can save the foreign currency. So then, my shortest speech, I need to highlight one area on in this local brand development. So of course, that's about the tourism. So one of the promising ways to practice foreign exchange to our economy. No doubt. So if you're concerned about the tourism industry, so developing a local service brand will ultimately give you much foreign exchange, much opportunity to foreigners, to tourists to enjoy that authentic experience. So suppose, as an example, if I take one sector like rural tourism, so rural tourism can be one of the service brands. So if you take if you take Purivadunna somewhere, you do practice the rural tourism to enjoy the rural sector, right, rural lifestyle, and there are the other that worship places, and to experience really your experience in the rural lifestyle. And you are experiencing that one with the foreigners, tourists. So they, what can do then as a strategy, as a policymaker, what we can do. So that's not the important point of here. So then, while introducing a service brand locally, so that will enhance the identity of the brand. So you can enhance that local identity of that particular brand. So that's to attract the foreign customers. Of course, in the tourism industry, there are the tourists, those who are arriving to the locations, arriving to the destination to experience. Of course, so what I need to highlight is some sort of experience like that. So once we can think about the service brand, like from India or like Purivadunna or maybe from rural areas. So you are mixing up with local identities, you are mixing up with other categories, and you are mixing up with other localities, and then ultimately you are providing an experience package to foreigners. Therefore, then that kind of that very promising way to tip within the economic strategy while ensuring about the foreign exchange into our country. Okay, so that's what I need to highlight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Imali. And right after Professor Imali, we are moving on to the next speech. This will be done by Dr. J.D.T. Madhushankar, Senior Lecturer of Department of Marketing Management, Faculty of Management Studies of Rajaratnam University of Sri Lanka. This invitation goes to you to address the gathering on this special occasion.
Thousands and thousands of marketing graduates and marketing students made use the world-famous handbook, The Principles of Marketing, in learning marketing, and also it was a useful guide for most of the teachers and lecturers of marketing discipline in Sri Lanka. Professor Philip Kotler is the author of over 80 books, including Marketing Management, Principles of Marketing, and many more. He believed marketing was an essential part of economics, and so demand as influenced not only by price, but also by advertising, sales promotions, sales forces, direct mail, and various middlemen, such as agents, retailers, and wholesalers who are operating in sales and distribution channels. He links the profit motive to the satisfaction of consumer wants and society's well-being. In order to market effectively, Kotler believes the marketing purpose of elevating consumer well-being has to be put at the heart of company strategy and be practiced by all managers. To pay the well-deserved gratitude to Professor Philip Kotler, the father of modern marketing, for his immense contribution, 27th of May was declared as Marketing Day in Sri Lanka. Especially May 27th is Professor Philip Kotler's birthday. And we are very happy to participate for this great initiative and show our gratitude to this great personality. When it comes to Sri Lankan marketing context, it is our responsibility to socialize the subject of marketing by concentrating on small and medium enterprises. As Rajarata marketers, we have taken different initiatives to educate and transfer the knowledge through our students to the society. We have done different programs and sessions to share our knowledge, and also we are encouraging our students for startups and supporting in all aspects, especially in consulting for marketing. As Sri Lankans who represent the academic community, we can do a lot more to develop SME sector, especially using different concepts like localization and indigenous marketing. With the COVID-19 pandemic situation, economic activities were badly affected, causing the SMEs to undergo severe hardships. Sectors like tourism industry, apparel industry, handloom and handicrafts, export industries were highly affected. The loss of marketing opportunities in the high demand period of March to April have also affected them severely. The main issue faced by the micro and small enterprises is apparently the breakdown of their supply chain due to the lockdowns and curfew. Although there were so many adverse effects due to the COVID-19 threat, new opportunities also have emerged. There were many innovations done by students, undergraduates, and SMEs during this period. So currently, those SMEs trying to rise and they need a proper guidance to stabilize in the market. Especially using digital marketing strategies, they will be able to target the audience with effective manner. We need to educate the people and enrich them with relevant knowledge. Further, if they are focusing on export markets, the best way is to use localization and indigenous marketing strategies, except using mass audience strategies. Each and every culture have its inherent values, perceptions, ideas, customs, and social behaviors.
So simply this is the company adapts its product or services to each local or culture where they market the product. It will give local businesses wide accesses to a bigger target market in different cultures. We are very happy to join with you all to celebrate Marketing Day today with the mark of respect to Professor Philip Kotler, the father of modern marketing, for his great contribution to the domain of marketing. As Department of Marketing Management of Rajaratnam University of Sri Lanka, we are giving our utmost contribution to socialize marketing concepts and strategies in our society and to promote the sustainable marketing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Madhushankar of Rajaratnam University of Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, while passing the messages to Professor Kotler, we are also sharing some of the meaningful and some of the very important insights of the modern day marketing. I think it is very useful to everyone who are here at the audience. So ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the next element of the agenda. We do have the speech by Dr. Sujeevi Sappu Kottanage, who is the head of Department of Marketing Management of the Open University of Sri Lanka.
Professor Philip Kotler, sir, at this special event, let me begin by wishing you a very happy birthday. I'm sure for many around the world, your birthday is as special as you are. At the first international research conference organized by the Faculty of Management Studies of OUSL, ICOM 2022, a unanimous decision was made to declare 27th of May as the Marketing Day of Sri Lanka. As for us, the Sri Lankans, that is the best way to mark our respect, pay our tribute to you, the father of modern marketing, the great marketing guru the world has witnessed up to date. Much more than your invaluable contribution to the field of marketing, we consider you as a wonderful human being, ever willing to extend your services to any corner of the globe. Sir, wonderful persons like you bring the true meaning to the much talked about term, the global village. Professor Kotler, your great contribution to the domain of marketing is invaluable. We respect and highly value your involvement in making the world aware that the subject of marketing, among other disciplines, is important and popular, especially in achieving sustainable development. By declaring the 27th of May as the Marketing Day of Sri Lanka, scholars and academics in the country aim at developing appropriate strategies and mechanisms to take the subject of marketing to the broadest possible segment of population in Sri Lanka, so that modern marketing concepts, theories and practices, of course many developed by you, Professor Kotler, could be fruitfully utilized by interested parties, especially by the business organizations, including the SME sector. Today, on the 27th of May 2022, we are celebrating the first Marketing Day, and I assure you, sir, on 27th of May every year, the FMS and OUSL will ensure that the message of modern marketing will be heard loud and clear through the length and the breadth of our beautiful island. Thank you for being a gentle and kind mentor to us all. On behalf of the Faculty of Management Studies of the Open University of Sri Lanka, I wish you good health on this special day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sujeevi Sappu Kottanage, for the valuable insights shared. And ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the last university representation of the day. I consider it my privilege inviting Dr. Nuresh Eranga, the head of Department of Marketing Management of University of Peradeniya, Sri Lanka, to share his insights on this special occasion.
everyone. So thank you very much for inviting us to talk about agile entrepreneur marketer. Especially, I hope to share some of our research findings on this very important topic, which is very important for the small businesses in our country at this crisis situation. So I'm Nuresh Eranda, representing the Department of Marketing Management in the Faculty of Management at the University of Peradeniya. So I welcome all of you just to listen few minutes for this agile entrepreneurial marketer topic with some of our research findings on this area. What is agility? Some of you may be really familiar with this. So it's all about, as marketers, as managers, we have to move very quickly. And then we have to learn a little bit more than others. So we call it outlearning. So how we can do that? I think in the modern digitalized world, outlearning is a kind of a habit that we all of us have to master today in order to be competitive in this highly volatile and dynamic environment. And also, if we do that, if we outlearn, definitely we can outperform, particularly our competitors, especially as entrepreneurs. Outperforming others in a very differentiated way is very, very important for you to achieve a very high competitive advantage in the marketplace as entrepreneurs, particularly as the small scale business people. But one thing that we should not lose while we are agile, that is about we should not lose the opportunity that has to be captured in order to create a value for us and also to create value for rest of the others and mainly for our stakeholders. So how we can do this? Now, let me start with a very nice example in here. Dr. Lasantha Malavigae, of course, he's the founder and right now the CEO at Lasana Flora, which he started as a third year medical student.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Nuresh Eranda, the head of Department of Marketing Management of University of Peradeniya. As you could see, he in his presentation had some insights and findings about agility, grabbing the business opportunities, of course, very insightful. So a small reminder to all of you who are joining virtually, this entire presentation, this entire session will be uploaded on social media platforms and on our website for your reference as soon as possible. So you can actually go through all the insights and findings when you watch this session when it is uploaded. So ladies and gentlemen, we are having some time constraints as well. So we are reaching to the end of today's session, but we need to thank each and every individual who helped making this day a reality. So there is no other ideal person than Mr. Denzil Pereira to thank each and every party who contributed, who joined hands in making this a success and a reality today. So ladies and gentlemen, I consider it my privilege in inviting again Mr. Denzil Pereira to give the concluding remarks.
Hi, everyone, and welcome again. Well, we are actually running short of time in terms of what we planned for the day. And of course, the last presentation is going to be very informative and impactful. In fact, we'll make sure that it's uploaded and shared among all of you for you to go through and learn that content, because I think it's something important. Anyways, I'll take this little time to thank the people who really worked hard in making this event success. First of all, this event wouldn't have been possible if there was no such thought called the National Marketing Day, which was actually the thought that basically came from Professor Nalin Abeysekera of the Open University of Sri Lanka, who was a wonderful marketeer, who's in the academia in Sri Lanka, who's been nurturing many undergraduates and marketers, market enthusiasts in Sri Lanka, along with his fellows. So my first heartfelt gratitude goes to Professor Nalin Abeysekera and Professor Tilakaratne of the Open University of Sri Lanka for coming up with this wonderful thought of having Marketing Day declared for Sri Lankans. And that day happened to be the birthday of the father of modern marketing, as you all know, Professor Philip Kotler. My sincere, heartfelt gratitude goes to him, because without him, this day wouldn't have been a perfect one for us. So we are so privileged and we are so humbled to have him spend his time, valuable time with us at the dawn of his birthday, right just before his birthday, listening to us, sharing his wisdom with us. So in that sense, I'm really, really grateful, Professor Kotler, for your valuable time and your effort that you've taken to share your wisdom with us. And making this event a possibility, a success, let me also thank the English Tea Shop, Mr. Suranga Hera, the CEO of English Tea Shop, and his team, especially delivering a wonderful gift pack in advance for Professor himself to enjoy at home. Organic tea, pure Sri Lankan tea, Ceylon tea, under the brand of English Tea Shop. So English Tea Shop team, my heartfelt gratitude goes to you as well. And then for the team that made all this possible within a very short period of time is the TCAM team. My heartfelt gratitude goes to them as well, because without them, nothing in this show would have been possible. Also, I need to mention about the people who develop the creatives to video editing, everything. It all matters. Minute things matters the most. And the logo development was done by eConcepts, Madhuranga of eConcepts. So Madhuranga, we really appreciate your efforts as well, coming up with a nice logo for the event. And we also have the academia. I think it's the first time in Sri Lanka, all the universities in Sri Lanka contributing to have a forum like this, even though it's virtual. I think everyone is getting the benefit of it. And my heartfelt gratitude goes to all the academia who contributed with their effort, energy, and motivation to motivate another generation of marketing enthusiasts in Sri Lanka, especially their own undergraduates. So I would not go one by one, but of course, most of them are known to us. So my heartfelt gratitude goes to them as well. And adding to that, everyone else who basically worked tirelessly to make this happen, to make it possible, including our wonderful host, Nipuni, and all the other team members, everyone contributed. I'm sorry if I missed any names. My gratitude and my honest, humble note of that goes to all of you all. So let us meet again from another interesting session like this. The National Marketing Day was inaugurated some time back, and today we are having the first event virtually dedicated to Professor Philip Kotler, because it's his birthday today, and we're gonna meet you again. Until then, I wish you all the very best. Remember, Sri Lanka is a resilient nation, and we have gone through many difficult times, and I'm sure that this is another one of them that we're going to come through. So I wish you all the very best to stay strong, remain positive, remain motivated, so that as a nation, as together, we should be able to come out of this, and we'll be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. All the very best to you. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Take care.
Thank you very much, Mr. Denzil. Of course, he thanked everyone who was a part of this mission, I would say, the inaugural National Marketing Day of Sri Lanka. Of course, Mr. Denzil Pereira has to be thanked for this initiative. He took the responsibility and the burden of organizing organizing this. So thank you very much for this great task. I'm sure that everyone in the audience also are very thankful and grateful for this initiative taken. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining hands with this special occasion. I'm sure this is the first event, the second and third, and the other events are going to be much greater, much better, and much grander for sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, just as Mr. Denzel Pereira said, we'll stay positive, we'll stay strong until that one fine day comes, which is sure to come in near future. So we'll do our part to uplift this society, this country as a whole, as marketeers, and then that one fine day will come sooner in near future, as I mentioned. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being a part. And this marks the conclusion of the day's event. Stay safe, stay strong until we meet again. Have a nice day ahead.
Apa